Hello and welcome to On the Couch, Conversations with Brenda Porter. Today's guest is David Kote. Now, David is an actor, a director, and award-winning director, and an educator. And so we're going to have a conversation today, and he's going to fill us in on all the happenings of the world in theater. So hello and welcome, David.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I am honored. So I know that you began with the Freddie Hendricks Youth Ensemble. Am I correct with that?
Yes.
Yeah, back at Tri-Cities. So that were you one of the original members?
No, I kind of came in like right after the originals. I mean, well, Freddie started the company before he got to Tri-Cities. And then once he got to Tri-Cities, then we all kind of just gravitated to him and started coming to YEA. And it was just a beautiful thing. I think we did theater like it felt like all day and all night.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that he had started it before he went to Tri-Cities. I thought
Yeah, like a couple of years before.
I thought it came out of Tri-Cities. You see, you learn things new every day.
No, it actually came out of Upward Bound.
Oh.
It was an Upward Bound program in West End, and he started teaching some kids there, and then that grew into a company, and then he started teaching at Tri-Cities, and that grew, and that made the company grow even more.
So what do you, because I know that you have a, a degree and a master's degree, both in theater and directing. And what do you think that you got from that foundation from Freddie Hendricks and the Youth Ensemble?
What was so interesting about that time is we were able to explore the possibilities. We were able to, I always say that one of the things that I got from my youth is the two main things were focus. Like we understood what focus was and how to focus and how to concentrate on a particular thing at a particular time. And we learned how to be available physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I think that's the key foundation for actors. If you start there, then I think the sky's the limit, because that breeds, or that allows you to be able to learn all the other techniques and tools that you would need to become a good actor, because you're focused and you're available.
I like that. I like that a lot. So when you're working, since you are an educator, when you're working with youth, is that your focus in teaching them that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is key, because one of the things that, we learned so many things, but one of the things that Freddie stressed that, that you don't hear every day was love yourself. Like he would tell us to hug ourselves, and so you say, when you start, you're like, what is this? But then you realize that because you love yourself, it was made it easier for you to love others, and to be really engaged in the process of creating art that can change the world. Because that was the focus. Like, we were never focused on being famous or anything like that. The focus was always, how can we change the world with our art?
Yeah, I love that. I really love that, because I truly believe that theater can change individuals and lives and cities and the world. So yay, because I think so many times people are, especially young people of this generation, and you may have a different experience than I have, but I think young people of this generation really are focused on the fame, on the, let me get on Instagram, let me get on YouTube and become a star, and lose track of how do I affect other people, and how does my life impact others?
Yeah, it's a definite disconnect when you think about it like that. Like, theater, if it mirrors society, or if we're trying to say something about the society that we live in, then it has to be bigger than you.
Yes. Speaking of which, the society in which we live in right now is really new for us in many, many ways. So we have the pandemic, which none of us have ever lived through a pandemic. And our parents did not. We have not, and our children, I mean, this is our first pandemic. Um, so we have this new way that we're navigating through life, which has affected so many things. And since we were talking about education, I know that learning has gone so much to the virtual um, uh, way of learning things. And so I know that you taught this summer with the Alliance, who did a virtual camp. And I had this thought that, oh my gosh, virtual camp. What? And I had a friend of mine who was like, I'm not going to do a virtual camp and have my child sit in front of a computer. And I still have to be there. The whole thing about camp is being able to leave and leave them there. So how did having a virtual camp work? And how is it different from regular teaching?
Well, the thing about virtual camp, I think all of us had our angst about how this would turn out. You know, can we do the things that we do normally when we are in a room with each other? Can we connect? Can we create an ensemble? Can we focus all our energies to create a collaborative project? And the interesting thing that happened, I think I did a 2-week camp with Rosemary Newcott, where we used the text Working the Musical and combined it with Bill Withers music.
Oh.
And yeah, so it was interesting because we only had 2 weeks to kind of create community, create a show, tap into the creativity of these young people who we didn't know until day one. And miraculously, or not even miraculously, it's just because of the theatrical process and what we do as collaborative artists in the room, which is a virtual room at this point, all the things started coming together harmoniously. Like we started to create a family, and people started to care about each other and chat and talk about issues in the world and use that as motivation for the pieces that they wrote that we combined with the music of Bill Withers. And then something magical happened and we ended up with a show. Just
Wow.
like as if we was in a room. And then I got a chance to repeat that process in a totally different way with the Polanski Collision Project. And both of these things I served as actual musical director for both of them. We were able to connect. Pearl Clegg, who is the artist in resident and the focal point of Collision as far as playwriting. We all just came together and was like, wow, we still have that same sense of community, even though we are not in the room with each other. We're not able to physically connect. But I think when we're all thinking about the same thing and we all trying to achieve the same goal, some kind of cohesive project or our focus, it all becomes one. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of enjoying it. I would rather be in the room and be able to do the things that we do as artists, but I'm just happy that we are still able to communicate and hear the words of playwrights and the next generation of playwrights and old plays, and still let their words resonate with us as human beings.
So I'm fascinated because, as an instructor, I often spend 2 or 3 days playing theater games, passing the clap, and doing ensemble building activities, and without being able to pass a clap or an imaginary ball or all of those things. How do you still get that connection?
I mean, I think the key is to still try to do those things, but see how you can translate it over on Zoom. Like, you know, if I had a ball right here and I was holding the ball and I passed it to you and you took the ball and you brought it, you know, if I pass it to you and go off the screen
Okay.
and get it, you know. So it just
Got you.
depends.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about, you know, at the end of the day, it's about connecting mentally more so than anything else.
Well, that's true.
All being on the one, you know, as we used to say in YA, to be on the one, where everybody's on the one, where we all in the same mindset, we all understand what's going on, and I don't know, it's just something about it that it just happens when you believe it. You know what I mean? It's like, what is it? Acting is doing is being is believing. You got to
Right.
do something. If you're not doing anything, you already losing. You know, so it's often when I'm directing and actors, you know, come in to the room and they say, "What you want me to do?" I'm like, "Something. Do something." You know, so that's what it's about. It's about doing something, and when you do it, it manifests itself into something new that we're doing now over theater, over Zoom.
And we'll probably be doing it this way for a long time. Because I know that even, you know, if we use New York and Broadway as our guide, I know that they're talking about at least a year and a half before they're back on. So I know that film is a little different. Film is starting to get back and have, you know, create within a bubble so that they can film, which then makes me go, where is theater going? You know?
I don't know. You know, I don't think. You know, I'm working on a couple of new plays right now too, that are in development. And you
You're
know,
writing them?
no, I'm actually directing.
Okay.
One is at Indiana University.
Okay.
I'm the third year MFA playwright. She's writing her thesis, and they asked me to direct it. But again, I'm directing it over Zoom. But I didn't want her to write the play for Zoom. You know what I mean?
Right.
Write the play as if 5 years from now, will it still resonate? Can we still do it on the stage? But let us figure out how to make that play translate to this medium.
Okay.
You know, it's tough, but it is what it is. I guess that's the phrase that's going around.
Now you said directing. You direct. You act. As you start talking about the education, but you are an award-winning director. Your production of Color Purple at Actors Express won a Susie Award for its direction as well as for its musical direction and direction. Is that correct?
And best musical.
And best musical. So I know you probably get asked this all the time. If you had to pick one, which one would you pick? Directing, acting, educating?
I don't know if I could pick just one. And I say that because I think you do all three all the time anyway. If you're a director, you definitely an educator and definitely an actor. You know, even if you're not an actor, you have to be an actor. I mean, you know, I love my actors, but you know, actors and egos go hand in hand. You know, actors and egos, actors and confidence. You know, it's a variety of things that you deal with when you're dealing with just people.
Mhm.
So you know, I try not to be an actor in that way. I just try to be real and straight up with everybody because I believe that the director is there to be the eyes and ears of the production.
Right?
So, you know, but you know, sometimes when you want to say no or hell no, you have to be like, well, let's see, let's try it.
And then you could say, oh
And
no.
then you can say, no,
No, that's gonna work. And I knew
that's
it
not gonna
before.
work. But you know, because you don't want to you want to keep the creativity flowing. And when you say no too much, then people stop trying to be creative. And then you're limited to your ideas. And if my ideas are the only ideas that make it to the stage, I don't really want to be a part of that production.
See, I'm with you. I'm with you. And in fact, I like to collaborate. I think that's one of the wonderful things about theater, is that it's a collaborative art form. You
Yeah,
know,
it's collaborative, but but as a director, don't think that just because we're collaborating that I don't, I don't know what's going on. I think it's my job to vet the ideas. You know what I mean? To make sure that those ideas are solid and in line with the overall production. So, but I do want you to come in there with something, bring something to the table. And I know this because as an actor myself, I think that's the thing that keep actors working. All the actors that I work with that come into the project with ideas and just try things, those are the ones who we hire all the time because we don't have to do that job.
you're right.
If I have to do your job, if I'm giving you all the ideas and I feel like I own your performance, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
So.
So when you are acting, do you ever find yourself, no, you even have to finish the sentence. Never.
No, when I'm acting, I focus on my part.
Good.
And that's it. Like even if I'm not opposed to throwing out ideas, if it helps the project, but there's a way to do that without trying to upstage the director or trying to be the director yourself. I know myself, I don't want an actor coming there trying to direct my production. So I'm not going to go into anybody else's project and think that I'm going to direct their project, even if I think I know what I'm doing. Because my job is to play this part, to say my lines, and to bring as much to that particular character that I'm playing as possible. Everything else is somebody else's interpretation, so I'm gonna let them do their part. But if I see something going crazy, I'm gonna be like, and then I do it tactfully anyway. I ask a question.
Like, what in the world are you doing?
No, like, could I try something? Something, but definitely, I respect, because here's the thing, like I respect directors because they take the chance before anybody else is on the production. Good or bad, like a lot of times, when the production is good, everybody's like, oh, the actors are so good. And the director is like, but if it's bad, oh, the director sucks. So if you're going to take a chance, either way it go, I think you would deserve that respect.
As I mentioned before, I know some of the film industry is starting back up and people are being extremely safe. They're working in a bubble. And I know that you've done a lot of film work or on-camera work as well. Have you had questions about how to get back into that? Are you comfortable with that?
I kind of love my life. Like I don't have ambitions as far as wanting to be an actor, a film actor. I mean, the right role come around, and every now and then I try to just act just to know what it's like to be on that side of the table. But I think for the last 10 years, I've been really focused on being a director, and so I guess in 10 years I've probably done like 3 shows as an actor. But that's just I did a Shakespeare, I did Julius Caesar, no, I did Romeo and Juliet. I played Lord Capulet, and just so I could, I was in grad school then too, so I was like just trying to, make sure that the chops are still there and I can still do the actor thing, and not be hypocritical when I ask an actor to do certain things.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a crazy time, but at the same time, it's a wonderful time because it forces us to think new, to think different, to create different, to connect with people different. You know, I was just watching the Democratic National Convention last night and seeing how I mean, we having conventions over the internet. So it's a time to kind of reflect. You know, having all this time off and being able to start to see what's really important. And now I think we all see how essential our jobs are, or not.
or not, yes.
Yeah. What's
Um,
really important in this world?
I think, like you mentioned the convention, I think this is the first convention that I watched pretty much all the way through. And I could hear and understand the speeches because so many times it's with all the crowds and the yelling and the screaming, I'm straining to hear what it is the speaker's saying, even though they're on a mic. And so it was kind of nice to go, hey, I can hear and understand and relate to what's being said. It was an
Right.
interesting approach. So, yeah. And who knows?
Yeah, I hope I can do this with my students this year too. I'm going to be teaching at South Atlanta High School theater, you know, and I was kind of excited about it because it's like, wow, I still get to do what I love to do, and I really enjoy trying to cultivate the next generation of artists. So it's always a blessing to be able to do that, and maybe see the success of your students. I think that was one of the biggest things from my time in Tri-City is to be able to see my students on Broadway or in movies. Is always a pleasure. That's so rewarding for me.
That is, it is. And I'm glad that you had that attitude because I know there are some people who go, well, I taught them everything and I'm not up there, you know? There's that little green envy thing. And we can't afford that. We've got to push each other up and build each other up, you
Yeah,
know?
why teach if you're gonna do that? If that is when well, let me say that I could be up there, but that's not my thing. You know, like I'm not. I don't really. I don't know. It's just. I mean, I like to see productions done. I enjoy the process of taking something from the page to the stage, and it's and whatever level that is. I mean, that's what it is. And I don't like. I mean, I approach my high school students' work just as much, just as intense as I approach, my professional work. I want it all to resonate with the audiences that are coming to see it. So I don't put any more weight on my professional work that I do with the work that I do with the high school students. I think it's all about creating art and putting something into the canon or into the atmosphere, into the community that people can receive and take something away from and help society in some kind of way. So yeah,
I love that. I love that. So our time is almost up. I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about any projects that you are working on now that we might reach out and see or view or I'm a part of.
um, what's interesting is that I was wondering how I was gonna work professionally once the whole pandemic started, and now I have two two readings that are coming up in the fall. One is with Candy Durgis. It's a new play that she's developing.
Mhm.
That'll be a reading. I think it's in September, and I'm also doing a reading of this play. What's it called? Big Mama Superhero. Mama's. Hold on. I just had it up. I'm doing a reading with Indiana University um, in the fall of another play called. Let me see. It's a play called Black Superhero Magic Mama.
Well, that's an interesting name, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's an interesting play. It was done at the Gaffin Playhouse. But I'm doing a reading of that in the fall. I'm also doing In the Red and Brown Water in January at the University of North Georgia Gainesville Theater Alliance. And then I'll
Is
be back.
that virtual as well?
No, I mean right now it's in person in January. And then I'm doing a virtual show, a full production at Indiana University, which I'm an alumni in that graduate program. I got an MFA in directing there. So they asked me like 5 years ago. I got an MFA there. So they asked me to come back and direct these two productions this year. Yeah, and I'm doing a couple of shows in my school. So I think my plate is full.
You are extremely busy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. That's really good. Everybody gets touched a little bit by your magic.
Well, I think I'm just fortunate to be able to work with so many wonderful people.
So before we leave, is there anything else that you feel like you just have to share with the world?
I don't know. I think we share. No, I think there's more to come, and we'll see more come up as the time goes. I'm blessed to have been able to be in the midst of so many wonderful people that have taken me under their wings or given me insight and knowledge, and I just want to be able to spread that, pay it forward myself. I'm one of the things that when I first started teaching high school, I asked Freddie Hendricks, oh, please give me some advice. What do I need to do to be an effective teacher? And he said, love them.
Wow.
I was like, no, for real, I need some real advice. But I think that's the key to being able to connect with students, is to really care about them and really care about their future. And if you care about the future of the students and the youth, then you care about the future of the country and of the world.
On that, I can't think of anything else better to end on than that. David Kote, thank you so much for your time, for your talents, for your words of wisdom. And I hope that we get a chance one day to work together.
I hope so too. And thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Yes. You take care.
All right, you too.
Okay. Bye.